Hello, hello, hello. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to my channel. This is Alicia Barney Matahari 44. Welcome back to my channel if you're a return visitor, and welcome back if this is your first time dropping by. Today we are doing a pick a card reading, and it is love letters from your inner child. Love messages from your inner child. So we have 3 piles today. Pile number 1 has this dragonfly, have courage, and this moonstone angel. Pile number 2 has this fortune cookie. And pile number 3 has this bell. So take a moment, pause if you must, and pick out whichever pile is calling to you. And I am going to start with pile number 1. So first off the bat, this angel wing is a little bit broken. So I'm just gonna pop her up here, and you can see actually the light come through from the candle, which is kind of sweet. So we have double wings here, and I'm gonna pop pile number 1 over here so we know that it's pile number 1. So first off, let's take a look at your cards, pile number 1. From the Fairy Oracle deck, we have got Faf the Footer. Faf the Footer. Card number 44. Panther Spirit. Reclaim your power. I don't know if you can see it. I mean, it's like this panther is not all black. First of all, he's got a ruby here at his third eye, and he's got sacred symbols, or she has sacred symbols all over. And I'm getting Sekhmet vibes from this also. And I've never gotten that from this card in the past. From the For Love of Dragons deck, we have got the Pest. I'm noticing that, the colors are very complementary here. Wow. Joy of life. Trust. Open your hands. Share. Let go. So beautiful. Dolphins. Play. It's okay to relax. Smile again. Share your flow. Oh, look at those colors. It's like there's a graduation from this energy into this. Oh my goodness. And sacred gifts. Unlock your gifts. We've got the dolphins here. And we've got a key here. Sacred gifts. Energy senses. Pure love is the key. Okay. Okay, pile number 1. Straight away, I'm feeling like you are my Dark Night of the Soul pile currently. Now, anyone who's on any sort of spiritual path, I mean, we all are, whether it's conscious or not. But anyone who is or has been consciously drawn to the spiritual path knows about the Dark Night of the Soul at some point. And to be honest, several ego deaths along the way. So I don't think that they're synonymous. I think the Dark Night of the Soul really is, for me anyway, it's a karmic crossroads, a turning point, a very conscious decision where, you either, in that darkness, you either make the change that you need to make to co-create with spirit and to surrender to whatever it is, your tower, your set of towers, your decade of towers, your lifetime of towers, whenever that hits for you. I remember reading Dr. Shefali. She has a book called Radical Awakening, and she talks about how everybody goes through this. I think she's a professor in Columbia in New York. But she talks about conscious parenting a lot. And she was saying that everybody goes through this at some point, and her thesis, or one of the things that she shared, was like, it's kind of better to go through it when you're younger. You don't want to be hitting that when you're 70. And I mean, if you are, you are. But normally, well, not normally, but that can often come through, resisting and not surrendering to the void, to whatever label you want to put on the dark night of the soul. This Faf the footer talks about balance. And see, he's looking at his feet. And the feet, first of all, the feet is ruled by Pisces. So I'm hearing as above, so below. So when we walk through life and through time and exposure, and, we're born with a pure energy, we still come in with karmic lessons to learn, but we don't have any karmas built up in this lifetime. So in that sense, we come in with a blank slate. And over time, as how we navigate life is how we clear our karmas, as you know. And Faf the footer talks about, the stuff that gets stuck to your feet as we walk our path. It's very symbolic, actually. I think it's kind of beautiful. And in the Fae realm, like he'll help you look at the gunk that you've collected along your journey, along your path, along your world, just walking each other home, Ram Dass, along your journey home. And he will also help you with one foot up, lift up the other foot. So obviously, without wings, that's a very difficult spot for a human to be in. And for Fae, it's fine. So it's that really call to balance. It's very, very beautiful. Then we have the Pest. And the Pest is talking about, in this deck, about not every challenge that comes to us is something that we would choose or prefer. And in that space, so in ecosystems, pests have their purpose, and they're part of the ecosystem. They are food for some other being. So it's part of the cycle, and it's a call to remember that, even when we're in the dark night of the soul, there's a call to balance. There's a call to purify. There's a call, and that's how we reclaim our power. Think about the panther, how it's a hunting animal, and it's also an animal of stealth. 44 is also a very spiritual number. It's also a number of balance. And it's reminding me of that Rumi quote also: in order to understand the dance, we must understand the stillness. And in order to understand the stillness, we must understand the life, or the dance. So that's reminding me of, Shiva and Vishnu, because Vishnu is the Lord of the dance, the dance of life, the cycles, the ups, the downs. And then we've a lot of nature going on here too. So your inner child is with you. Your inner child is really, really powerful, and your inner child is really whispering to you, you have got this. And you are very, very, very protected. What you're actually doing in this space is you're purifying. Now, I don't know where you are in the timeline, so I don't know if you're coming into this, if you're in the middle of it, if you've been through it and you're just walking out of it. But it's a call to trust, and to trust with an open hand to spirit, an open hand to your heart, an open hand to your inner artist, an open hand to your inner child. Your inner child is very creative, very joyful. And I mean, that is showing here. This is the direction you're going into. And the key is opening up dialogue with your shadow. And maybe you are some, you know, as we get older and have to do life, we don't have so much space to play. We don't have so much space to cultivate our creative expression, but it's a call, if that has been put aside for you, to re-engage a little by little. It's better to do, you know, a little bit and build it up over time. Wax on, wax off, chop wood, carry water. And there's a huge recognition from your inner child that you are purifying, that you have experienced some betrayal. You have experienced some real pain. You have seen some real darkness that has just almost made your life, or at least some stage in your life, go from what was technicolor to just darkness. And being in nature, we've got a lot, I mean, look, you've got the dolphins here. So water might be very significant for you, but we've got the wings here too. And I'm getting that from the dragons as well. To nature might be really, really healing for you to be in, to go walking into, if you're in a, you know, in an urban environment, perhaps, maybe you can watch some of those YouTube videos that have, you know, they have those beautiful, you know, you can watch the shores of Tahiti, you can watch the volcano in Hawaii, you can watch the Northern Lights. We just, you know, the internet is both a blessing and a curse. We can scroll on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and compare our lives to others, or we can do that and get some inspiration and then go into our own imagination. Your inner child is highly imaginative. So when you're in the dark night of the soul, as I'm sure you know, looking at some of these things that really, really hurt us, it can be so incredibly painful to look at. And your inner child is really calling you to help purify and alchemize that pain, because I'm really feeling inner child wounds. He needs your protection, wants your love, wants your protection. And maybe I'm seeing in the, you know, the movie Inception, I don't know if you've seen that, but one thing that reminds me of that is that the wife, who's played by Marion Cotillard, she takes her emblem of reality and she locks it away in her childhood home inside a dollhouse. And maybe you have done that with your pain, but it's suppressing it, it's repressing it, it's not healing it. And your inner child is really saying, it's time, I don't want to feel this pain anymore. I need you to look at the truth. I need you to free me. I need you to take me out to play. And this for me is giving the Temperance card. So it's a call to temper your energy. And I know that when I went through this, my own self, that I worked with a trauma specialist. And I'm going to pull some tarot cards, and the first card that came out for you is Ace of Cups. And isn't this just so incredibly beautiful? It's transformation. It's this little baby reaching up for spirit, about to climb in and dive in to spirit's love. And your inner child is that bridge for you to spirit's love. Even though there's so much pain there, there is the power to alchemize it. And there's a thing called titration, and there's plenty of techniques. You don't want to go in and just be overwhelmed completely with all of the pain, because it can be, first of all, it can be terrifying to look at what has been done to you. It can also be really overwhelming. So if you think about it, emotions though, the emotions, first of all, they get stored in the body, they get stored in your auric field, they get stored in you get stuck in your head with them. And emotions are not the same thing as feelings. So one thing that I've learned through my own healing journey is that what would happen, a way that I would disassociate, and I didn't even know it was disassociating until I worked with an actual trauma specialist, was I would get caught up in my head and I'd be ruminating and trying to work out all of the safety options. And I love to dance. So maybe, and when I was in my body dancing, and my body loves intense movement, which I didn't know until I, started dancing, and then I started training, and then, I got to understand this about my body. And then I had one flexibility coach, and he was saying, put your feelings into your muscles. So the distinction being emotions are more like memories. They're still valid, they're still real, but they're not necessarily the truth of what's happening right now. Whereas the feelings that you feel, the sensuality, what you might feel it in your gut, you might feel it in your heart, you might feel it in your throat. Those feelings, those physical feelings, are the key to knowing sometimes where to work. If you're someone that especially really does well with exercise, with movement, with music. Of course, music is vibration. We've got the music notes here. So maybe even if you had, let's say, for example, if you had throat chakra blockages, for example, let's say you learn to sing. That could really help because it's a vibration too. And singing is not just I'm hearing Christina Aguilera saying, I hate face singing. I hate face singing. And the interviewer was saying, what do you mean by face singing? And she kind of just sang with her mouth. And then she sang from her throat. She was like, see the difference? And when you sing with your whole body, you're projecting your voice, you're using your breath, you're using your diaphragm, you're not just na 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 whatever, so there's something about and voice, all the colors are here, so maybe you want to realign more than your throat chakra. And I'm only using the throat chakra as an example. The throat chakra is the first, it's a really important chakra actually, because the root chakra is kind of the chakra that grounds you to the earth, but the throat chakra is the first of the ether chakras. It's the gateway into the higher realms, to the Fey realms, to the 4th, 5th, 6th, up to 12th dimensions. And I'm seeing for you also, water could be very significant. You also could be a starseed, to be honest. Your inner child is calling you to play some. And I know that's really, really difficult when you are in this space. It's reminding me of that. There's a phrase that says, if all you can do is crawl, then crawl. So maybe your dance is to literally be on a yoga mat and roll around. I'm just seeing like this little baby and happy baby pose. Like you don't have to get up there and be out there pulling weights like some, gym junkie. It can be little, it can be gentle, it can be fun. Maybe you want to, get some drums, and that's reminding me of the heartbeat and the baby against the mom's chest. Maybe you want to just, who cares if it's rhythmic? Just move some of that energy. Energy, emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. So your inner child is calling you to look at some of those really, really tough things that you've been through, and to help you and to ask you to release them. And with that, release your inner child so that your inner child can sing you back to life and can play with you. Your inner child, I'm sure you're absolutely creative. Your inner child is very connected to the divine, but life has shut that down. The other thing that I wanted to draw to your attention as well. Okay, you also have courage. I know you're very courageous, because you wouldn't have gone through this and have these cards come out and have the ability, like I can feel compassion from you really, really strongly. And you're probably wondering, like, I've been so good. I've been so good. I was doing it right. I was doing life the way they said to do life. And yet you're still in this place, or you were in this place, and you're like, I don't know why other people are able to manifest their dreams and I'm being shoved in here. And people are mean to me, because I hear that be the change that you want to see in the world, the Gandhi quote. And all of us have something that we have to learn. So you are very courageous. The dragonfly is a symbol for transformation. So you're being called to expand your strength and to learn how to go after what you want and protect yourself at the same time. So you're being called, you're moving to another stage of your elevation. And Ganesh is coming through really strong for me with this, because this is a broken wing. That which is broken can be mended. And there's that I think it's a Japanese tradition where if something breaks, the china breaks, and they put it back together and they seal it with gold. Your gold is within. Your light is what's going to heal you. The cracks will be strengthened and create this beautiful story. I'm hearing songlines. Songlines is an Aboriginal thing where they tell each other stories. It's also a book by Bruce Chatwin, so you might be called to watch that. And you know, they have that walkabout custom in Australia, and it's specifically Aboriginal. And on top of Uluru, that's a very, very sacred place as well. So you might be called to look into some Aboriginal stuff and maybe learn something about Uluru, and maybe look at that book Songlines. The other thing about Aborigines as well is that they were not even recognized in the census in Australia until the 1970s as people. That is wild, but that is the truth. So maybe you felt like you weren't recognized, your humanity wasn't recognized, that you weren't treated like a person, and you're bossing up now. And this is also, the 44 is also reminding me of, in Vedic astrology, they have the Lagna chart, which it's your Vedic chart. But when you come to your kind of midlife, then you move to your Navamsa chart. So maybe it's worth looking at what that is. So anyway, we haven't even gotten into your tarot cards, but your inner child is absolutely, like, we've got the transformation here and the little garland of flowers, 6 of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, and the High Priestess. So it's interesting to me that you've got two very highly spiritual cards. You go from the Ace of Cups to the High Priestess. And that's also very, very significant of being in your dark night of the soul for me. And the Temperance card. And through but through this process of re-engaging with your inner child and letting them be the absolute genius that they are, is your way to have harmony in your life. I don't know if you're in a relationship right now, but that's on the cards for you if not, if it's something that you seek. Also, this is signifying to me your masculine and feminine. So in order to have life reflect back, and the Pentacles is also reminding me of, instead of not just the worldly and the coins, like money, I'm not really thinking of it in terms of money, even though that's part of the worldly. What I'm seeing it as part of is magic. You're very magical, and your ability to manifest has been buried by not being able to let your inner child really flourish. Now, and that's the key for you, pile number one, is play and creativity and being kind and loving to yourself. I mean, it is self-love, but it's also being able to face your shadow. And what I was talking about, just in terms of being overwhelmed. So water, the sacral chakra is the water chakra. So that's also the chakra of creativity. So maybe you have a blocked water chakra, or maybe, and water tends to, a little bit of poison in the water can contaminate it very deeply. So it's important to, water is symbolic of our emotions are the water element. So purifying whatever that trauma was, and it can be anything, whatever you've been through. My heart is with you, because I can feel both the dark and the weight. And I'm sure with this energy inside you that you have absolutely been projected on by others. But this is where you're going. You're going, building your own family, your own, whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like for you, your own community. And again, I'm seeing here with the Seven of Pentacles, wax on, wax off. So patience. And I know it sucks when you're in this place. And it is a stage of the stage of the spiritual path for all of us, pile number one. And this is where you're going. I'm really called to pull actually one of these Journey of Love cards for you, because you are so protected. Devotion to the small. Isn't that so beautiful? And 3 and 2 is a 5. It's the little things. And she's bent over. I'm seeing a spiral. I'm seeing a woman. And also the blood dance. So that's giving me heart chakra. Your heart is a portal for you. So being able to unlock the pain and release the pain from your heart, and being able to move from that forward and see all this root chakra energy coming up, being able to be strong and rooted in that for you is really going to help you. I don't recommend. I know that what worked for me was working with not just a therapist, but someone who had a trauma specialist, someone who had expertise in those nervous system issues, PTSD, borderline as well can have that, very high lows, very low lows, and they're not they're I guess technically personality impairments, damage caused by someone, by circumstances or something else. And there are things that, you know, that we learn, they're survival mechanisms that no longer serve us when we need to be the emperor in our own life, and we need to be able to stand up for ourselves, and we need to have our own sovereignty and our own back. I'm just going to leave it at there. Pile number one. Keep the faith. Absolutely keep the faith. I am sending you so much love, so much healing, so much joy, so much peace. You've got this. Oh, I want to just, a bunch of songs came out for you in the pre-shuffle. This one, Once Upon Another Time by Sarah Bareilles. Help I'm Alive by Metric. Go by Santigold and Karen O. Jesus to a Child by George Michael. And Hero by Ali Sherlock. So those may have some messages for you in them. That's all I have for you, pile number one. If you like my content, please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You've got this. You have absolutely got this. So I don't know if I talked about this as well with the broken wing just before we go. The Ganesh has a broken tusk, but Ganesh also mirrors this card because Ganesh talks about Ganesh is the obstacle, is the master of obstacles. So the obstacles that you're have faced, that you've had to overcome, are the key to your healing. As much as it sucks, you will get there. Your guides, your inner child is so unbelievably grateful, unbelievably proud of you. So take heart, pile number one, and maybe I'll see you at another reading. Take care. Bye. Oh, and one last thing. Maya Angelou said, I did not put the wounds there, but it is my job to heal them. That's an acknowledgement from your inner child, is that you didn't do this. You weren't to blame. This was pushed upon you. So if you have guilt, if you have blame, if you have shame for yourself, you can learn to let that go. And your inner child is such a bad bee. Really and truly. Thank you, pile number one. I'm so, so grateful to have your energy. And I can't wait to see what unfolds for you. So I'm going to get into pile number two. So pile number two, we had this fortune cookie. For some reason, I always forget what this is for like the first 2 minutes. I don't know why, but there you go. So we have, I might have to cover this up a little bit because we've got some stuff, some naked bodies. It is Fairies of the Future. Lovely. Fairies of the Future. Let's just pick a smaller one. We have Lizard Spirit. Pile number 38, or card number 38. Dream the world into being. The Daydreamer. Nice. Synchronicity. Opportunities in divine timing, open to change, divine outcomes. Fire and water. Stillness amid turmoil. Feel emotional integration. And we have the dolphins here. Oh, and another sea creature. Initiation, deep trust, deep healing, reconnection with all. Okay, I'm going to pop that one down here. The colors are mirroring. I'm seeing very royal colors for you, pile number 2. Purples and golds. And this, oh, wow, that beautiful blue. Almost a cyan color. So straight away, I feel like I'm hearing the song Daydream Believers. Daydream believer and a homecoming queen. You're my playful pile. You are my adventurers. You are so connected to your inner child. So connected. You may have been the pile who had a wild imagination as a child. You may have been the pile that could not or would not sit still. You were always asking questions, inquisitive. I feel like you could love the water as well. You could have been like me, a little bit fascinated by fire when you were younger as well. I'm getting Venusian energy from you. With the volcano, I'm also getting Moana, and I'm also hearing Mount Vesuvius. So that's Pompeii. And that's reminding me of Atlantis. And these three cards are reminding me of Atlantis. So I feel like you're very creative. You could be a Leo. You could be a Taurus. You could be an artist. You could be a performer. Anything like that. I mean, you don't have to be. They're just some of the things that are popping out for me straight away for you. I'm gonna pull some tarot in a minute, but just with the lizard. Okay, so fairies of the future. So children are really honest, and I feel like you're so in touch with your own truth, your own intuition. I'm getting that also really strongly because there's a lot of blue here, and that's the card of, or that's the color of the throat chakra, and that is the gateway to the higher realms. And then you have the indigo for the third eye. So you're probably clairvoyant. You're probably very psychic. In that, the moon could be very significant for you also, pile number 2. And you're also very grounded into the earth. The fairies of the future card. So there's a lot going on in this pile. So I feel like you've in this card alone, you have a really rich inner world. We also have card number 33. So that is the age that is ascribed to Jesus when he passed, and also to Saint Bernadette, who is, I believe she's allegedly buried in Paris. I could be wrong about that, so feel free to correct me. But in this card, we have Anna at the top. Well, actually, first of all, we've got this gnome at the top, and he's able to look in both directions. And in this card, it is, if we try to, sitting on the fence can be really difficult. And looking only with our human eyes. Oh, I'm hearing the little prince. The heart can see what the eyes cannot. So I feel like you're very connected to your heart chakra as well. And you perceive the world from there. So you're probably highly psychic. You're probably both you're probably clairsentient, clairvoyant, maybe clairaudient. Maybe you hear your guides' messages. Maybe you hear from nature, from animals. Being in the woods perhaps is somewhere where you get a lot of downloads. Maybe being around water, scrying might be really powerful for you. I mean, you can do that with twigs, with leaves, with water. That might be something that is, if you don't do it, it might be something that you have a natural gift for. This lady, Anna, she is, she has her eyes closed, but she's letting the Gnome King guide her. She's already made her decision and she's on the way. So she's not sitting on the fence. She's going forth. This guy He's a woodman. He is not going anywhere. He's happy where he is. He knows his place in the world, and he's happy with it. So there's an acceptance, being present, enjoying the marrow of his life. We have the Gnome King here, who's he's the sovereign. He's directing those who want to follow him. He's leading those who are in the path. And then we have this lady here, and she is kind of looking at the Gnome King for direction, but she would be better served to make her own mind up and not be swept away. So I feel like either it's as a child, you have to rely on your parents, but as you grow up, you get the opportunity and the freedom to carve your own path. And I feel like you're very good at that. Whether you've done that already or it's something that you're developing or working up to, I'm not sure yet. But being with your inner child and dreaming, back to the lizard spirit. The lizard, there's a story, and I think it's Native American, indigenous, I don't know. I don't know if it's specific to a tribe, but I remember hearing this story where the snake was kind of looking at the lizard, and then the lizard is on the rock, and the lizard is just there dreaming, and the snake is just looking at the lizard kind of thinking like, why aren't they hunting? Why aren't they doing whatever? But the snake didn't understand the power in sitting in the dream and feeling it. So I'm being brought to Abraham Hicks, and Abraham Hicks always says, we want things for the feeling that it will give it. What if we cultivated the feelings, and that is a way of receiving? So I feel like you're a really strong manifester, and you know when to just sit in your energy. And this is also echoed in the Daydreamer card. And then synchronicity. You are very, very good at recognizing the synchronicities in life. There's a difference between, and that's kind of like when you see the pattern of synchronicities, that builds trust and open to change. Opportunities in divine timing, divine outcomes. So you're very good at that, dreaming something, wishing something. I'm hearing a dream is a wish that your heart made. So you don't live in the wishful thinking. You're able to bring it forth and manifest it. Whether that has already reflected in your life or not, we'll see from your tarot cards when we look at them. But you're very, very good at recognizing the synchronicities, and that's reminding me of alignment and divine timing. It's a frequency. Time is a linear concept that we came up with on this planet because our human brains and our ego need some point of reference. But I'm hearing Joe Dispenza, become nobody, become nothing, be in no time, be nowhere, and then you are everybody, everything, everywhere. And I forget what the other one is. But you're very, 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 very good at that. And you could have had imaginary friends when you were a kid, but you might have just been hanging out with your guides. Fire and water. So that's a male and a female energy. And then in Moana, when her heart was stolen by Tafidi's heart was stolen. Tafidi's heart was stolen. And that's when she was in darkness. So that's giving me that. But you have a good balance of fire and water. And the water will temper the scorched earth of the fire. And we do need both. And then we've got deep trust, deep healing, recognition with all. I feel like you're healers as well, pile number 2. Your ability to dream, your ability to conjure, you're so magical. You also, I feel like you could be a pile that that astral travels quite a bit. They're showing me when you're in dream time that you are very active, and that you do work in other realms. Whether or not you know this, it might be something, past life regression might be something that you're interested in, or yoga, dream yoga, which is lucid dreaming, and those kinds of things. So if you don't meditate, we've got the 8 of Wands here, which is a fast moving energy, and Wands is also that spiritual energy, and it's a powerful card. 8 is also, you know, for me, it's the infinity. It's the infinity symbol, but it's vertical, not horizontal, and that's giving me as above, so below. So I'm seeing you be both very adept in the earthly realm, but also in other realms. We have the 9 of Swords. So let's keep pulling and see what else comes out. King of Swords, pile number 2. Ace of Cups. This came out in pile number 1. So I wonder if this is a continuation on from pile number 1 for some of you. There might be some messages in pile number 1. Pile number 1, I'm not going to get into what it was, but if you feel called to, you might want to look at it. And finally, we have the Strength card. So we've got double 8s here, and we also talked about the infinity. And this is the ability to, I mean, look at her. It's the Strength card. It's Major Arcana. And through her trust in spirit and her trust in herself, she knows she's a goddess. She knows she's a divine being. She knows how to tame, this is echoing this, she knows how to tame her own fire and how to wield it, not scorched earth, but to take her brain with her and to be able to strategize so that she isn't just hanging around, daydreaming, eating a sandwich on the couch as, what's his name? Who was it that said that? Oh, the guy who was in Dumb and Dumber and The Mask, Jim Carrey. He said that in some keynote speech. He was like, the man, and Oprah quotes it, I think, as well. So you may have gone through a time of deep anxiety when you were not able to ground things in, or maybe you're even in this now, or maybe you're coming out of it, but your cards are overall extremely positive. You know how to accept Spirit's love with an open hand. You're like, it's not about me. And I'm hearing, you know, a lot of artists say that they don't create so much as they channel. They see it and they bring it to life. And there's that theory that if, you know, that the divine sends divine messages to many are called but few are chosen. You chose to act. You chose to act. And 8 is also reminding me of the 8th house, which is Scorpio. Scorpio is the house of transformation. It's the house of the things we're afraid to look at, the things that we push down, the things that are taboo. So there might be something in the things that are taboo, or the things that really scared you. Maybe you turned that into something that drove you forward. We've also got 2 8s, and 2 8s signifies new knowledge. So that's giving me that rebirth energy also. Imagination. And yeah, so I also, these came out for you also, these songs. White Rabbit by Emiliana Torini. And that song is all about, it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland. So that's reiterating your very strong imagination, pile number 2. You could be you could be a writer, you could be a filmmaker, you could be, I just really feel that you have such a rich imagination. And if you don't write or do something like that, there's something very creative about you. And your imagination, if well trained, is huge for you, I think. And then we've got Raindrops and Roses. And that is, again, I'm seeing colors, and it's kind of a magical song. And then we've got Everything Matters by Aurora. And that's just a really, I just get a really ethereal vibe from Aurora. So I feel like, again, we're back to you and your inner child. Your inner child is, I feel like your inner child is actually one of your guides. So opening up that dialogue and learning, well, you probably already do that, to be quite honest. But really cultivating that and allowing your inner child to have a seat at the table. If you haven't done that already, doing that, I feel like, will move you forward very, very quickly, more than kind of maybe more than just having just strategy alone, just having the, ticking off the boxes and the milestones, having a timetable, kind of being able to move back from, again, I'm back to the eyes, the heart can see what the eyes cannot. And the opening of that Little Prince book, which I love. And actually they made such a beautiful remake of it with a little girl. I highly recommend it. And the soundtrack is really good as well. I love it. So digging into all that creativity and play for you is absolutely phenomenal. But what I also think for you is you're probably, this energy that you have, I'm just seeing cartoons and Care Bears and circus and joy and animals. You're probably really connected to the Fae. But also, I feel like when you're around people, you bring that Technicolor into their lives. Your energy is just, gorgeous. And people might try and, be very attracted to you in being around you, and they might just want a piece of it. So maybe, and then now I'm seeing kind of child actors and, younger people in the industry that were kind of taken advantage of. So you may have been taken advantage of, or maybe you work with people that have been taken advantage of, and you help them to bring this out in them. So maybe you're some sort of a therapist, or someone who works with kids, or somebody who works with child trauma, because you're very healing, just being in your energy. But you can't do other people's work for them, as you know, or may have learned. So maybe you've been through this path, and now you're helping others through your art to help others overcome some of their things that keep them up at night, and how to boss up and not only just be loving, but also to be strong in their boundaries and to protect their heart. I don't think I have anything else for you, pile number 2. This feels like it was kind of a long one, so if you like my content, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm so grateful that you stopped by and for sharing your energy with me today. So with that being said, pile number 2, I am going to let you go and I'm going to move on to pile number 1 as quickly as possible. Bye, pile number 1, pile number 2, I'm sorry. I am wishing you healing, joy, and peace, and so much love. Bye. Pile number 3. Let's see what you have. Okay. You had the bell. Pile number 3. Let's take this out of the way so we're not confusing people. And pile number 3. Let's look at your cards. The Fairy Godmother. So I don't know if you can see it in this card. She's got what looks like a crescent moon. It's this beautiful kind of lilac color. There's an owl in here and there's a couple of little dudes here, and then she's got what looks like the sun and the moon in her hand. Okay. Oh. Dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch. Nice. And all the lights here are just really beautiful. They're reminding me of the moon and the stars. Turkey Spirit, give with gratitude and grace. The Wishmaker, gorgeous. Universe, Metatron. Wow. We've got more star action, celestial action. I'm going to put that down here and move these over a little bit. Elven ones. Oh, gorgeous. Look at all the purples and blues that you have. My gosh. Divine Masculine. Rise of True. Gentle Power. True Strength. Oh my goodness. Pile number 3. And Archangel Metatron. You have really, really beautiful masculine and feminine energy, but your masculine energy is very pure and very, very strong is what I'm getting for you. Very gentle. I love that for you, pile number 3. Wow. So I also feel like you've got a really strong, I mean, you've got the Fairy Godmother, you've got the Elven one here. Divine Creation, Codes, Starborn Architects, Devas, Sacred Geometry, Metatron's Cube, Sacred Geometry. You have a beautiful, beautiful harmony of your divine feminine and your divine masculine. Whoops! Sorry, the World card just came out. And that is absolutely as above, so below for me. Wow, pile number 3. So this card is immediately reminding me of, who was it? It was Helen Mirren. I saw a meme where she said, imagine if your fairy godmother was your future self talking to you now. And then the Wishmaker. The Wishmaker in this deck is talking about how we sometimes don't allow ourselves to dream and to wish. And I'm hearing a dream is a wish that your heart makes. And the fairy godmother in Cinderella, she's the one who granted Cinderella the wishes. But the wishes, they turned, the magic turned back to its original state at midnight. So I'm hearing about divine timing as well. The other thing is, pile number 3, is that I think you're my witchy pile on earth, but also you're very, very strong in the celestial realms. You're highly protected. You're very magical. Like you're just, and even here, I don't know if you can see it, above his head, there's a butterfly. So we don't typically think of butterflies in space. And then also I'm very drawn to this golden headband and the crown chakra on the crown chakra as well. So your crown chakra, and of course the world here is just sitting on top of your crown chakra. I feel like you have a mission here. You're definitely star seeds, in my opinion. If you don't resonate with that, you might want to look it up. If it doesn't resonate at all, maybe it's not time, or maybe you need to pick another pile. But I'm getting really, really strong starseed energy from you. Very, very protected by your galactic family. Absolutely. So gorgeous. Pile number... Oh, I'm dropping cards. Sorry. So the world, first tarot card out is Major Arcana. Also, bring a gentle touch, and this is mirroring for me this card. This is your on earth, and this is your masculine, I guess, the power of, so what I'm hearing is battle does not always have to be bloodthirsty. So whatever that means to you, I'm seeing that there's a lot of things happening in the world as well. And, you know, the monks who are warriors, being able to fight is a deterrent, but it doesn't mean that so training your strength is important and maintaining your strength is important. But you don't necessarily have to use it in that way. I'm seeing in the first Dune as well, the one with Colin McLaughlin, that he's sitting at his desk, and this is reminding me of this as well. He's sitting at his desk and he's looking at something, and that his 3 kind of mentors come to talk to him. Gurney, he's fighting the Patrick Stewart and the other guy, and his 3 teachers, I guess, that work with his fathers and his 3 council. So he's so alert. He was like, "Don't sit with your back to the door," and he without turning around, he says who was there, and he says, "I recognize their footsteps," and one of them says those footsteps could be mimicked, and he said, "I would know the difference." So I feel like you're very alert, you're very perceptive. You have a really strong, really strong third eye. You are able to pick up on things that you don't know you're even able to pick up on. We've got the 3 of emotions out for you too. This is the 3 of Cups in this deck. We have, I'm getting strong divine feminine from this, and I'm getting Durga vibes for you. We've got the Empress, which is number 3. So we've got 3. And we had 33 in the last pile, actually. We've got Page of Emotions here. And the Octopus. And in here, portals. They say that the gut is very, 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 very healthy. And if you think about where this is showing up here, this is showing up around the sacral chakra. And then the heart chakra is an air chakra. So again, we have the theme being repeated of the balance between male and female. masculine and feminine energy, irrespective of how you identify. So I'm not talking about gender, I'm talking about the energies and the balances. And Durga, she was created, so the reason I'm getting Durga from this is the three. And Durga was created by Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva to slay the demon that they could not slay. Masculine energy could not save humanity could not save them from the demon. It took feminine energy to do that. And now I'm hearing, you're my witch pile, I think, as well. So I think on the earth, and the fairy godmother would be kind of a witch as well. And on the earth, I feel like you're very magical, you're very witchy, and you could be drawn to, schmexual magic and that priestess stuff and tantra, that kind of thing as well. I'm just going to pop this up here because I want to pull some more tarot cards for you while I'm doing this. And in the other realms, you've got very strong masculine energy. And I'm not saying that you have obviously masculine and feminine energy in all the realms, but it's coming through in this reading as, Metatron. And Metatron had an incarnation on Earth. Metatron is really strong purple is associated with Metatron and there's a playfulness about Metatron as well. Like he has an understanding of what it's like to incarnate on Earth. So you've got as above, so below, and the colors are just really, really echoing each other. Give with gratitude. So there's giving and receiving. So giving is like masculine energy is action. So that's like energy out. And then feminine energy is receiving. And receiving is with openness, making space for it. And I love that Rumi quote that says, gratitude is the wine of the soul. Go ahead, get drunk. I'm just going to pull a few more tarot cards for you. So you've got the Eight of Wands. In this deck, the Eight of Inspiration. And that came out in the last pile as well. The Eight of Wands did. So I feel like the collective is really experiencing, and Wands energy is fire energy. But look at her. She's in her heels and she's walking through the desert. So you're defying, physics, gravity. And the Two of Pentacles in this deck is the Two of Materials. And again, it's the roses and the crystal. So I'm seeing a real juxtaposition of an ability to move through the dark and the light. So duality, the masculine, the feminine. There's a huge integration. There's this beautiful dance. And you're just very adept. The witchy thing is coming through. The witchy thing is coming through for me again. And I remember something that Claire Nocti had said somewhere. And she was saying that the light of witchcraft is so bright that it appears as darkness, in that the true gift it gives the world is the destruction of things that are truly evil or not in accordance with universal will. And over time, there's a thing called, I think it's Kamarupa city, and that's kind of the witchy. If you don't take care of your body, and you don't take care of your vessel, it's very difficult to tap into that erotic energy, that kundalini energy. And I feel like you're really, really, you're really, really good at that, or you will be really, really good at that. It's a very natural thing for you to do. But again, we have the duality. In order to do that and to bring that forth, it takes wax on, wax off, chop wood, carry water. It takes a dedication. It takes discipline. And that again goes back to more of a masculine kind of energy, to be a structure and a container for this beautiful creativity, emotion, and you're just so adept at that. And it's gone out of my head. I was going to say something else. Oh my goodness. We have the 9 of inspiration here, which is the 9 of wands. And this reminds me of the oracle in the Never-Ending Story. Often the 9 of wands is like heavy burdens. But in this spread, I'm really seeing it as you are really good at dealing in truth. And children will tell you the truth about everything and anything. And it's only those with a pure heart that can cross this. So you have burned a lot of karmas. You've put down burdens, especially that weren't yours. I feel like you're very, very connected to the Fae realms and to other realms, as well as your star family. You could be running around the astral with your Fae family too, and your galactic fam. And then in the Never-Ending Story, the dragon is Falkor, and Falkor is the good luck dragon. So we've got the dragon repeated here as well, pile number 3. You're just incredibly integrated. I feel like you're a very old soul. You're here on mission. If you don't know much about that, you might want to look into it, or not. I mean, your inner child just does it naturally, and you being plugged into your own emotions and your own heart, and then listening to your feelings. We didn't even really get into the world card. The world card is, that's what turns the wheel of that's what brings you the wish fulfillment, I guess, is this ability to integrate and to be in harmony with the divine will, divine timing. And again, divine timing is frequency. It's not a linear thing. Your frequency is just so beautiful. I'm sure, people are around you a lot. And maybe you teach this because you're so advanced. I don't know if you're one of these people that, like, literally just being in your own vibration, you're a broadcaster, a beacon of that frequency and that vibration that you're I mean, for all of us, I don't know if you have an extra mission, but your mission, everyone's purpose is to really come back to our own natural frequency and build from there, whatever it is we want to bring forth into our legacy. And you do that really well. If your life is not reflecting that right now, it is going to. And you're going to do it in heels. The other thing is, I pulled a few songs for you, pile number 3. The first one that came out is Nature Boy by Aurora. And that's actually from Moulin Rouge. And it's, I think it was written by David Bowie, who, again, he's like, he wrote Starman. He just had this, he was just his own unique flavor and total genius, absolute musical genius. And Aurora, I believe, might identify, or I've heard her talking about witchy things, and she has this beautiful ethereal voice. She's just beautiful. I think her music is just, listening to her music, I feel like there's codes in it. So if you make art, or if you, like, I feel like when you speak, because I'm also getting throat chakra from you, when you speak and you share your ideas, I feel like there's codes that you activate in others around you. And when others see you being your own fairy godmother and manifesting the things that you love in your life, I feel like it activates things in them too. You have a very nurturing quality as well. And that is brought through not only by this three of emotions, which we talked about, Durga, Divine Mother. Durga also, she has 8 hands, and she has a tool or a weapon in each hand. She also rides a tiger or a lion, and that's to signify, it's like the strength card in some ways, but it's to signify being able to master attachments in the ego. So you're very, very powerful. This is major arcana too, but you're also very loving, and you don't nurture to control. That's just who you are. And then you're just very connected to spirit. So we have Barefoot in the Park as well. This is James Blake and Rosalia, and look, it's a duet between a woman and a man. So we have that, masculine, feminine again echoed here in the song, and it's just a lovely song. And then finally we have the pines. So again, I feel like you're very connected to nature. In this song, Nature Boy, as well, it's like the greatest thing you'll ever learn is how to love and be learned in return. And it actually gives a nod to tarot, which is kind of cute for this also. So the only thing about this card is there's a nod to it that sometimes we don't allow ourselves when our ego takes over, we don't allow ourselves to dream. So maybe you're like a life coach or a therapist or an ascension coach or something like that. Maybe you help others because you're so good at this in your own life. Maybe you're very inspirational at helping others to unlock that in their lives also. Yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And you've just mastered the art of balance, You've got a lot of emotions. You've got water and fire here. And water and fire, the water will help temper the fire so that it's not scorched earth, or so that, Camelot doesn't burn. And also, fire and water produces steam. And steam, the steam engine. So there's a lot of power in that. So being able to know how to master those elements is important. And I'm also being drawn to, I remember hearing this before, that the difference between a flood and a hydropower plant is structure. One is destructive and one is generative. And I feel like you're the hydro plant, and you help those who are just lost in the flood just by being you and whatever it is that you do, give, and manifest in the world, whether it's your art, whether it's your teaching, whether it's your conversation, whether it's just a look you gave them or a touch of your hand. You are a beautiful, 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 beautiful energy. I feel so warm and so loved. I'm feeling little fluffy clouds around your energy, but I'm also feeling I'm feeling strength as well. I'm feeling home. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the hearth is. So again, we've got that fire reference. You're very good at both protecting, creating, and nurturing. And it's pile number 3. I don't know who you are. I am certain that you are very psychic, very spiritual, very gifted, very creative. And I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your energy. If you like my content, please think about subscribing or liking or commenting or sharing. And if not, maybe I'll see you at another reading, maybe not. But thank you for stopping by and wishing you love, light, peace, joy, and fun. I love you. Bye, bye, bye.